What up? What up? What up? Welcome back to the scorecard, the boxing scorecard, the special prediction show for the biggest match in quite a few years. Big welterweight showdown between the two top first ballot Hall of Fame welterweights in Terence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. All right, let's get right into it. I'll give you the prediction, my official prediction, and then we'll get the breakdown. So, my official prediction for this match is unanimous decision by Errol Spence Jr. Shout out to my boy Mike Carter, #1 Bud Crawford fan. I apologize. I don't even like saying that myself. I'm going for both guys. I like both guys equally, so I'm not going for either guy. But we'll give you my my official breakdown. So let's rewind this a past couple of years. So I said from the beginning, I was picking Errol Spence years ago for the simple fact that when you got two boxers that are equal in skill level, usually the person that's just bigger is, that's the reason why there's weight classes, right? You can have the same skill level, but if someone's just bigger than you, that's the advantage that they have. Their punches are going to have more an effect on you, and their punches are not going to have as much effect on you, and your punches are going to have more of an effect on them. That's what the advantage if your the skill level is the same, but you're the bigger person. So that's why I was saying, I was picking Errol Spence because Crawford started out at a lower level. Where did Terence Crawford start at? Well, we know Spence started out, his first match Spence has been at welterweight this whole time, his whole career. He's been at welterweight this whole career. And Terence Crawford, let's check to see where he started at. Terence Crawford started at 138 pounds, so just under the weight class right underneath at 140. I thought it was 135, but it was actually 140. So one weight class underneath, but in the smaller weight classes, that is a big difference. Those couple pounds make a big difference in the smaller weight classes. Both guys coming up have highlight knockouts on their records. Terence Crawford, 39 wins, 30 knockouts. Errol Spence Jr., 28 wins. How many knockouts does he have? 22 knockouts. So both these guys have highlight knockout reels on their resumes. You can say that Errol Spence has a slightly better resume at welterweight from the guys that he fought. Terence Crawford has looked, but then again, this is where things even out. Errol Spence has been welterweight this whole time, looked very good. Crawford only had a couple fights at welterweight, but he's done some things that Errol Spence has never done, like stopping Sean Porter. Nobody has stopped Sean Porter. And I don't care if it was at the end of his career. Like, Sean Porter didn't just give up. His corner his dad threw in the towel. Sean Porter would have continued fighting, if his corner didn't throw in the towel. He got dropped. He still could have continued, but just, we all know Terence Crawford is a killer, so it probably wouldn't have been good for him. But he was, Terence Crawford is the first person to stop Sean Porter, coming up from a smaller weight class. So the only person, and Sean Porter, even as an amateur, was heavier than that. So this goes to show you the level that Terence is on. What else we got? There was some. Oh yeah, my bad. That's why I was going with it. A couple of years, so that's why I was going with Errol Spence Jr. Just because he's simply bigger. The skill level was the same, but he's simply bigger. The other reason why I was going with Errol is because we've all seen Terence Crawford get hurt by smaller guys. As I see the highlights of the Gamboa fight here, when he fought Uriorkis Gamboa, when Gamboa was still good, that was a close fight. And Terence Crawford, that fight right there was the most hurt that Terence Crawford has been in his whole career. Now, of course, people are going to say, well, look what happened after that. He went out and stopped him. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But my whole point of saying that is that Crawford got hurt by a guy that was much smaller than him. And that was, yeah, let's double check that, because that was definitely not at 147, and Gamboa moved up, I'm pretty sure, for that fight, as I look it up real quick. Where are we at? Yeah, Gamboa moved up for that fight. He was at 135. How much did Gamboa weigh for that? Anyways, Gamboa started his career 124 pounds. Okay, so skill level, again, the skill level was there. That's how he hurt Crawford. The skill level was definitely there, but the power was not. And so that's what kind of concerned me. Terence Crawford got hurt by a guy that started at 125 pounds. So that's what I was like, Spence is going to get him. He's just bigger. That's, the naturally bigger guy is going to get the naturally smaller guy. And the skills are the same. However, a couple of months ago, I heard something that made me change my mind about that. Listening to Derek James, Errol Spence's coach, who I believe is the #1 coach in the sport of boxing today, he was talking about the Ugas fight when Spence fought Ugas, and when Ugas punched out Spence's mouthpiece. Spence said he lost his focus for a second because he thought his teeth fell out. So he kind of stopped and turned because he's out of embarrassment, not because he was hurt, but out of embarrassment in the middle of the fight. The guy's standing like this close to him, and he just stopped and turned. And Ugas took advantage of it and hit him and almost dropped him. So Derek James said that, Spence lost his focus in that for that quick second. And that kind of raised a red flag with me, because I said to myself, like, homie, you cannot be losing you lose your focus against Terence Crawford, it's going to be lights out. So that kind of changed my mind over to Terence Crawford, back to picking Terence Crawford to win this fight. So for a while I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go with Terence. But then again, doing all this analyzing, the past couple of weeks, every day I put on another one of their fights. As I'm training the boxers in the gym, I got one of the fights on the projector over here, and the reason why I'm going back to Errol Spence is the style of fighting. They say styles make fights. Again, the skill level, even if you want to say Terence Crawford's skill level is just slightly higher because he can go southpaw too. With that being said, most professional fighters can fight in both stances, but no one really has the confidence to fight at the highest level in both stances. Terence Crawford, by far, there's no question, Terence Crawford is the #1 switch hitter in boxing, meaning he can stand in both stances, orthodox and southpaw, and be just as effective in both stances. There's nobody in the sport of boxing that does it better than Terence Crawford at the highest level. Again, most boxers, if you've been boxing for a while, most boxers can stand in both stances, but not too many, again, have the confidence to go into that other stance at the highest level when it really counts. Terence Crawford is #1 at that. So, again, be very interested to see what stance he prefers against Errol Spence. There's been times where Terence Crawford came out in an orthodox stance in a 12-round fight, and just randomly in the third round, he'll switch to southpaw and just stayed southpaw the rest of the fight. So you don't know who was it. I think those are some boxer. Everyone's doing interviews with their predictions leading up to this fight, and one boxer said that Errol Spence has to prepare for 2 fighters. Chris Algieri, I think it was. He said Errol Spence has to prepare for 2 fighters because not only does Terence Crawford switch hits, like fights from both stances, but he fights differently from both those stances. When he's fighting orthodox, he's more trying to outbox you, which he does exceptionally well. The picks. when he goes to southpaw, he's going for the kill. When Terence Crawford turns to southpaw, he's looking to stop you, to hurt you and stop you. So it's going to be very interesting to see what stance Crawford comes out to. Now, the reason why I was going just to talk about Errol Spence's style, Errol Spence likes to start fast, which is, if you think about it, not common for some of the top guys and girls in the whole sport. Usually, if you know you're a top boxer, if you're the champion, you know you're the top person in that division. You know that your opponent has to come after you in order to take the title from you. Like, they have to make it clear in most cases. They have to come after you in order to take the title away from you. Errol Spence is like, nah, don't worry. You don't have to come after me. I'll meet you right in the center of the ring. That's how Errol Spence fights. He comes forward. He's starting with his jab, and he's looking to fight. He'll box you, but Errol Spence does not mind mixing it up, like getting right in there and mixing it up right off the bat. He's not wasting any time. He's using his jab. He's coming forward in a smart, aggressive way, not just simply in an aggressive way. It's the reason why I believe it's important to talk about those two styles. Errol Spence coming forward and initiating the fight, Terence Crawford being more the counterpuncher, is because I believe there's going to be a lot of close rounds in this fight. And because Spence tends to be a little bit busier and tends to start the action and tends to come forward more, I believe the judges will give Spence a lot of the close rounds. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of the close rounds, I believe, will be given to Spence. And even if it's a wide score, I'm expecting something like a 115 to 113. But even if it's something like wide, like something crazy, like 117 to a 111, again, a lot of the close rounds will be close. Like, even though the score might be wide, because usually if it's 117, 111, one person's dominant. But it could be that there was a lot of close rounds, and then a lot of those close rounds just went to one specific person. And I believe that person will be Errol Spence. I don't know what I guess I got to put a number to it. I'm going to be safe. I'm going to go with 116, 112. 116, 112, Errol Spence Jr. That is my official prediction scorecard for the biggest welterweight showdown of this generation. Yeah. Curious to know what you guys think, what your prediction is. Yeah, keep scrolling through those pictures. Hold on, no, I ain't done yet. Keep scrolling through the pictures. Because usually I do this after the fight, but just looking at what else these guys have to look forward to. Want to speak a little bit about Mr. Jaron Boots Ennis. Now, I just want to remind everyone of something about Mr. Boots Ennis. Very good boxer. Definitely passes the eye test right now. He passes the eye test so much that there's a lot of people out there that believe that he's ready to beat, not only fight, but he's ready to beat Errol Spence and Terence Crawford right now. So much so that people are saying he should get the winner. Might as well give him the winner because everyone knows Boots' name and is putting that battery in his back. He's charged up, ready to go. But what I believe, and he could do it. I'm not saying this to say that he can't do it. But what I believe people are forgetting, what I believe he ain't ready. You don't think Boots is ready yet? What I believe people are forgetting is that Errol Spence and Terence Crawford were having the same type of highlight reel knockouts 6 years ago before they stepped up in competition. Like, Jaron Boots is doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing to this level of competition. Looking good, like stopping them and looking good while he's doing it. Yeah, that last fight that he had was playing with homeboy. The one right before that, he struggled a little bit. That raised a little red flag with me. That the fight that he had right before this last one, where he went to 12 rounds with it, because him and his dad, the speech after the match was, we didn't prepare for someone that was going to run the whole time. We were expecting someone that was going to fight. Listen, the ring's not that big, and that's what the term cutting off the ring is. Especially someone like Bouts Ennis, who he has like 27 knockouts out of his 30 fights. So he's definitely a knockout puncher. You can't expect your opponent, who's not well known and not known as a power puncher himself, to stand there and go toe to toe with you. That just would not make sense on his part. So I would assume that you would have known that and then adjusted your style to that. So that's my one red flag with Bouts Ennis. Is he going to be able to adjust or adapt when Spence or Crawford adjust or adapt on him? That's going to be the big question. So, yeah, very interested to see the future. But anyway, this Saturday, it's about Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr., man. I can't wait for it. Of course, expect the scorecard breakdown on Sunday, or maybe Monday, depending how late Sunday is. How late Saturday is. But yeah, so can't wait, man. If obviously there's no comments right now, but if you're not watching the show live, please leave your prediction in the comment section, and I will definitely reply to that. And I will see you guys on Sunday or Monday for the scorecard, for the official scorecard. And again, I don't know how this fight. There's no way to officially predict, predict how this fight's gonna go. I don't know if it's gonna be an all-out war like Hagler and Hearns. It might, because again, people are saying no, it won't be. But again, these guys are very prideful. Errol Spence Jr. is gonna come after Crawford the way he normally comes after every opponent, aggressively. And even though Terence Crawford likes to move around and back up, I think Crawford's going to be like, you know what? F that. I ain't moving around. I'm staying right in the center. You want to do this? Let's go. I have a small feeling Terence Crawford is going to do that. He's not going to want to back up and move and try to box and look pretty. If Errol Spence is coming after him, Crawford's going to be like, F you. I'm not running. Let's go. So it could be a 4-round shootout, someone getting dropped hard, or a 12-round close fight decision. There you have it. Once again, shout out to Talking Fight. Shout out to my man Mike. Shout out to my man Eric, the number one producers in the game right now. Talking Fight, the number one boxing channel in YouTube right now. Even if it's not on YouTube, you can catch our non-YouTube shows too on any podcast forum that you can find them on. You could also find my YouTube channel, Cedric Sports Training. Find me on any social media at Cedric Sports. All right, man, I'm out. Peace.